North Korea again threatening to launch missiles toward the U.S. territory of Guam. Rocket man Kim Jong-un is upset about joint U.S. and South Korean naval drills that are scheduled to start Monday in the waters around the peninsula. Joining me now, former Cheney advisor, senior counselor at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, John Hanna. John, great to have you with us.
Hi, Lou.
This has been, as we were discussing earlier in the broadcast, a remarkable week of leadership for the President of the United States on Iran, on domestic issues, whether they be immigration, you name it. And we're looking at an economy that is right now strong, it is growing, and the confidence of the American people is reflected in sentiment surveys and indexes. This is something that the left has feared from the moment that Donald Trump jumped into the race and ultimately won the White House.
Yeah, well, let me just refer to the Iran case, Lou. What happened today, I think, is just a major inflection point in the history of U.S. policy toward Iran. In over 4 decades, no American president prior to Donald Trump has ever had a comprehensive strategy to push back against Iranian aggression and Iranian attacks against American interests. Donald Trump has now, in essence, declared war on the Islamic Republic's Revolutionary Guard Corps.
And we are hearing from our allies, particularly in Europe, intimations that they fear that there will be greater activity, terrorism on the part of the elite Republican Guard of Iran. Meanwhile, that's precisely what they do day in and day out. The largest state sponsor of terrorism, its principal arm, is the Revolutionary Guard.
That's exactly right, Lou. The Revolutionary Guard is the tip of the spear for all of Iran's malignant behavior throughout the Middle East, not only the nuclear program, the human rights abuses, the terrorism, the regional aggression, the ballistic missile program, are all controlled by the IRGC. This is no longer a clerical regime in Iran. This is an IRGC regime, and the president has put a target on the IRGC for the first time in nearly 4 decades of American policy toward Iran.
And remarkably, to credit the president further, he has taken this action without the support of the leadership of the Republican Party in either the Senate or the House. He is operating against the wishes of many of our allies who are utterly dependent on the United States for their ultimate national security and protection. And it's an extraordinary moment, as you say, because he is showing true presidential leadership, and he is standing tall, and unfortunately, for the most part, alone in the decisions he's making.
I think there's some truth to that, Lou, but I think this guy is a pretty masterful negotiator. What he has said to these Europeans, to Congress, to the Iranians is that, look, if you're so in love with this nuclear deal, I'm prepared to stay with it, but only if you work with me to actually improve it and fix these fatal flaws that exist in this regime. Right. That is the sunset.
That's in terms of the deal, but what I'm talking about, John, is in standing up and designating the IRGC terrorists and taking actions with sanctions from the Treasury Department under that designation is remarkable. And he stood, as I said, tall and for the most part alone with reticent, I could use other adjectives, allies in Europe, and even, and most especially with the Republican leadership. I mean, we were listening to Bob Corker go on today. This is a disgrace to watch this man behave in this fashion against the interest of the country, in my judgment, and certainly the agenda of the president.
Listen, the Europeans will moan, But the fact is the IRGC controls the commanding heights of the Iranian economy. They are now a terrorist group under U.S. designation. No European business is going to want to take the risk that the counterparty that they're dealing with is, in fact, a front company for a terrorist organization. This is going to have a tremendous chilling effect on the markets, whatever European feckless leaders say about it.
In the next 60 days, we'll find out how feckless the leadership of the Republican Party is on Capitol Hill. John Hanna, thanks so much for being with us. Good to see you.